Hi, John here. In this video I would like to talk about a couple of books that actually helped me to, well, get where I am, right? And that I recommend to everybody basically to read. And well, some of these books will basically be like typical marketing books. Some of them are more like sales books and books about how to think. And some of them are actually like history books that can give you that like proper, like outlook on a world, and I would understand how the world like works basically. So let me show you my list. But first, definitely subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button if you like my videos and if you watch them. Also, if you're still not in my free Facebook mastermind group at Federation, then definitely subscribe to that as well. It's free. It's full of people who spend millions of dollars on Facebook in e-commerce every month, So if you will have more like advanced questions, for example, about Facebook, then your questions will basically get answered there like very fast, okay? And you will get very professional response. And I personally respond to every question, every post that comes there. Okay, let's start with the first book, and that book is called HVERTISING. This is like one of those bestsellers in marketing, right? In content marketing. Basically, it will give you some kind of like basics, how to write copy and all that. It doesn't matter if you are spending like $1 per month on Facebook or $1,000, or if your sales are like $100 or $1,000, okay? Or $100,000. This book is actually good because it's like easy to read and it will give you all that information you need to basically kind of like create in your head that proper avatar of customer and how to like talk with him, how to not be like too salesy, how to give them like proper content and then, like make them buy, right? So I definitely suggest you to read HVERTISING. Actually, everybody who asks me like what book to read, I will always tell them, okay, if you want to know more about marketing and how like all these like advertising works and how to do like this impulse buys, then definitely like read HVERTISING, okay? I think like 3 years ago, I even attended on one event speech of that guy who wrote HVERTISING. So I know that he's like very smart, and he really understands brain. So definitely, if you want to know more like about advertising or how like ad works, then well, definitely read HVERTISING. Other two books that I recommend to read, and I really like them. These are about how marketing works, and they were written by David Ogilvy. David Ogilvy, well, he's dead now, but before he was like a super successful marketer. He had like a huge, agency, marketing agency, and they still exist, in New York. And well, I think it was like popular in 50s and 60s. And well, basically when TV came, right? And he actually created like tons of great ads, like he was great copywriter, great business owner. And he created two books, that I really like. Well, first one is Confession of Advertising Man, and I think he wrote it for his son, And well, it's kind of like how he looked on marketing, how he understands, how agency works and all that. I mean, even if you are not in like agency business, it doesn't matter because, well, it will still give you like that kind of like how he saw that marketing, okay, even before there was like online marketing. But I think actually a lot of things are like coming back, from the past. It's all like still working, So if you want to like understand how he look at how people think, definitely read that, okay? And second, his book is called Ogilvy on Advertising, and this book is great. It's like a lot of actually images and pictures, okay? Because there are a lot of like screenshots of his like newspaper ads, He wrote like a lot of like great ads that sold like tons of things, like for Rolls-Royce and all that. And you will even and you can see that how he was really like smart, when he was writing something that he was never like pushing people too much, but they were still buying. He was always writing like long copy and things like that. So if you will read that first book and understand how he think, and then read that second book where you will see a lot of examples of his specific ads, for like newspapers and all that, then well, you will like learn something, right? So these are like my two like favorite books, and I'm like a fan of David Ogilvy, okay? So definitely read that. Okay, then there are like two other books, and these are not really like direct online marketing or marketing, but they are actually interesting because they were written by like two interesting guys, right? First of them is like Ray Kroc, right? So I'm talking about his book Grinding Out. He basically explains how he started, like what was his like story, what he basically went through, and then basically how he built, you know, McDonald's, right? So, I mean, a lot of you probably already saw a movie, but it's not like same because this book actually, he wrote it, okay? So it was written by his own words, which I think is like a lot more important, and it's a lot more interesting than if you will just see a movie, okay? Also, all these books are, I think, well, except David Ogilvy, are all in audio, so you can probably also like download Audible. So that Ray Kroc is like first thing. And second book that's like super, also like interesting. And this one I like a little bit more than that's from Ray Kroc, and it's called Be My Guest, and it was written by Conrad Hilton, okay? You already probably heard about that surname, you know, Hilton. He basically created like Hilton hotels, okay? And he did it when like world was like on their knees, okay? So everything was like fucking falling on him, okay? He was like, he had nothing, he was running some hotels, okay? And he like was able to, you know, went through all that, you know, built that Hilton, you know, chain, and built like huge, you know, fortune, okay? And it was written by his own words, okay? That's why it's even like more interesting for me. So you will basically see, you know, what he went through, you know, how he built that Hilton chain, you know, how he was like acquiring hotels and then rebranding them and all that. So I definitely suggest to like download that one from that Conrad Hilton and Ray Kroc as well. And like I said, they are both in audio, so you can even like listen to them in car, okay? You don't need to read them. I personally like don't read that much books, but I listen like audiobooks every day. Now there are like 3 books that are actually super interesting. They are not so much about selling, but about mindset in selling, okay? So it doesn't matter what you are doing, it's more about like how to build something and that mindset that you need to keep, you know, to basically like not get crazy and just so you can keep going every day and doing your best, right? So that first one is definitely The Greatest Salesman in the World from Og Mandino. And well, I read that book a lot, you know, in the past because first I like traveling, okay? And this was like positioned in like a different country in the past and all that, and it was really like written great, okay, about that guy who basically came from nothing, then he found some like mentor that was already like successful, wanted to make money, you know, so he basically came to him, told him what he need to do in order to like create his own business. That guy told him like how to do it, but there will be like a lot of like like difficulties, you know, on the way, and then basically he went there and did it, right? So it's like super like, it's like very interesting book. I don't know why, but I always like come back to that Greatest Salesman in the World because it's like story like written properly, okay? So it will like take you in, so you can like feel something to that, okay? Because what is happening to that guy probably is like happening to most of us, okay? Okay, another one is definitely from Dale Carnegie, you know, How to Influence People and Make Friends. It's like about, well, how you should look on like interactions between people and well, how to understand what they think, you know, how to tell them what is bad in a way that actually sounds good, okay? So it's like, it's really interesting. It's like that one of those basic books that everybody should read. I actually read it when I was like 15 and I was like thinking like that I should do some business. I have like no idea what I'm doing, so I just download like a couple of these books, you know, and read them. And well, these books really like shaped, you know, how I think, okay? And how I talk with people, you know. It doesn't matter when I was like looking for clients, when I had still like freelancing business in the past, or how I, you know, like speak with people who are, for example, our customers in customer support, you know, and all that, okay? So this will like shape the way how I speak with people and how I look at that communication. So I definitely like suggest do it. You should read. I think this is like one of those most important books because it will kind of like give you how to like work with people, okay? Even like those, he actually, that Dale Carnegie, he interviewed like one of those like best businessmen in the past, okay? It's basically a book from like 1920 or something, okay? So it's like super old, okay? And those things basically didn't change what he's like teaching there. So definitely like read that because it's like awesome, okay? And you will probably like understand more. Even if, for example, if you are from like Western, okay? And maybe you have like different customs and all that, and you will probably even like more understand how people like on a West, like in the European Union or like USA or whatever, Australia, like work, okay? So, and how they communicate, okay? So that's definitely like a great book for that. And now we are coming more to motivation. And well, one of those really like my favorite books is Alchemist from Paulo Coelho. And well, I just first, it's like similar reason why I like that Ogilvy was greatest salesman in the world, and why I like this, because it's about like travel, okay? Like guy basically wake up and he sees a dream, okay, and then decide that okay, he will find, you know, that thing what he dreamed about, okay, and then he basically traveled from like Europe to like Egypt, okay, and a lot of things will happen on his journey, okay, and he need to go through them, and well, it's like very interesting book, okay. I mean, I just like it so much because it's like written great. You kind of like also understand what that guy feels on his way when like life throws shit on him, when he loses everything, then he need to rebuild and all that, okay. So I just like that Alchemist from like Paul Coelho. Basically it's like a book that you should always look, that you should like understand yourself, you know, you should follow what you think it's right, okay. So you should always listen to you and just go what you think it's right, understand what you want and then go after it, okay. And whatever that like life will throw at you, you should just go through it and keep going, okay, till you will get there. So look at Alchemist is great. I mean, it's just about traveling, okay. So if you like travel, you will probably love Alchemist, okay. If you like this kind of like books, you know, about like guy who starts with nothing and then he goes for something, and it's more like in that journey style, you know, the road trip style, and it's written like good, definitely you will like Alchemist. So 2 more books, right? And well, I think like one of those, this book is not so easy to read, but it basically tells you everything when you are starting out. So it doesn't matter if you are already making money or you had some businesses in the past, you failed them, but you still want to do something new. This book is called, you know, The Hero with Thousands Faces. And what that Campbell created was actually that by watching and reading like a lot of information about like these different cultures and all that, and watching like successful people, he basically created that hero's journey, right? And he basically created like a cycle, and he kind of like tried to explain that every time when somebody great kind of like become great, did he need to go through a lot of different steps to be great, okay? And well, you can see that cycle here, and well, it's really interesting because if you like think about it, that every time when you went through something, like most of these things that you will see here really happen, okay? So it's so and when I started, I really like think about it, you know, how can I like get to something, how can I even like make money online, okay? And I was like looking at this, you know, and I was like thinking like, yeah, this is all like, it's like all like process, okay? I just need to go through these steps, and it actually helped me like to not get crazy. Like I just always knew that it's like a process, you know. There was like millions of people who went through exactly the same process like me. I mean, on all of us fall different problems, okay? We all have some problems. They are just like in different jackets, okay? So, and because of that, you know, I was able to like keep going, okay? Because I understand that there was like so many people before me, okay, that had exactly the same situation, okay, and that they keep going, okay. So doesn't matter what really like followed me in the past, I always like kept going and I never gave up really, okay. So it's not a book that you will read easily, but actually you can just type in YouTube, you know, like that hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, and you will see like a lot of examples. Basically, all that book you can put into like 5-minute video, okay? So like this one. So definitely like even check it on YouTube if you don't want to get that book, because well, like I said, it's like difficult to read. So I don't think most people will be able to read it, because it's like even in audio it's like 20 hours of like a boring text. The last book here, and actually it's like one of my favorite ones that I found recently, is The History of the Silk Road, right? It's basically a history of the world. Well, you probably heard about Silk Road, you know, a lot of you live on it. And well, basically, like you know, that Silk Road, it exists for like thousands of years, basically. It connects like a lot of different cultures, you know, and well, this book is actually interesting in that you will understand that even after a couple thousand years, the world still works same, people still behave same, and well, it really didn't change much, right? Why I like this book? Well, it's basically a merchant history of how Europa and Asia were connected, right? And you will understand how Silk Road like shaped our culture, right? So you will understand how like politics changed, or how it shaped like religion, or how even like merchants worked. And it's basically like a huge pool of like knowledge of thousands of years. And what is interesting here is that once you read it, you will understand that the world didn't change that much, okay? People are like same. I mean, some things changed, but people are still same, they work same, and even that communication is like very similar, okay? And even now, like what you are getting from different countries is like also like very similar what they were like pushing here like thousands of years ago, okay? So I really like it because from the past you can take like a lot of like knowledge, okay, and a lot of experience, okay, because things that a lot of times work in the past are still working now, okay? So if you want to understand the history of the world, like old world, then definitely read this book. So thank you very much for watching this video, and well, if you would like to get my new book that I finished and now we are actually putting it graphically, together so it makes sense, and you would like to get it, then definitely, well, you can subscribe to any of my newsletters on my website, johnkubica.com, or if you will just download my free ebook, Facebook Advanced Survival Guide, then it will already be on my list, and I can send you that book when it's out. This book will be a little bit like a longer one, I was working on it for like last weeks, and it will be basically about 85 lessons that you need to know to succeed in first year of like e-commerce or dropshipping. Well, it's actually like a better translation of that. It's like about 85 things that fall on me, and almost like deleted me from this business, okay? So I kind of like decided that I will create a book about it, okay? So I can like help people, because there's like a lot of like mines that you can step on, that can really like eliminate you, especially in dropshipping, okay? Because it's like super easy. So in this book, there's like a lot of things about motivation, about Facebook ads, like it doesn't matter, it's like scaling of ads or like banned ad accounts. It's about how I pick products, how I deal with suppliers, how I deal with comments, and all these things, and so if you want to get my book when it's like out, when we are done with it, then definitely subscribe to the channel and subscribe to my newsletter or download my other free ebook so I can send it to you when it's like done. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.